Welcome to the Andy Noise Experience Podcast, Endurance Noise, Random Musings. It's September 29, 2020, 3:30 here in Bakersfield, California. And I was going to do a 3 days at the fair update. Of course, this is for the 6-day race, and it's a pretty good race so far. Amy Mower, 51 from Seattle, Washington, is running 148 miles, and this is the 34th hour of the race. Only 110 hours to go. And Phil Eberts, who's 39 from Eberts, Pennsylvania, he's also at 148 miles. They're just cranking along. So Amy, they're a really good website here on there for the race results. Amy is at 13:29 average mile pace, and Phil is at 13:33 average mile pace. So they are definitely chugging along. Interesting, on the men's and women's second place, they're also right neck and neck. Glenda Hernandez, 26 from Indianapolis, is at 100 miles, and Jim Cook, 55 from Nicholson, Pennsylvania, is at 100 miles as well. So they basically both came in around the same time. Third place, women, Darlene Cresta, 57 from North Carolina. She is at 90 miles, and third place in the men's is Gary Ferguson, who's at 94 miles. So quite a few men are approaching to that 100 spot. There's just 6 women in the 6-day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. About 14, I think, looks like, in the men's race. My buddy Bill Heldebrand, who I've done many races with, 74 from Florida. He's at 85 miles. He's averaging 23:35 per mile. And Marvin Skagerberg, 82 years old from Colorado. He has already done 58 miles, and he's doing 34-minute pace. So big congratulations to both of them. They're just really nice guys. I've done races with them oftentimes. There's one person in the 48 so far from New Jersey. He's at also 100 miles, and it looks like he may, maybe he's going to keep going, but he definitely got to 100 miles in 33 hours, which is 20-minute pace. But the big news, of course, is Camille Herron is going to be showing up at the race and doing the 48-hour. I've been fortunate to watch Camille break the world record for women at the Desert Solstice a few years ago, and she is just definitely a machine. In fact, I got to see Courtney DeWalter break the USA record up in Modesto, and then later on got to see Camille later on do it and break the world record as well. And it's interesting, both of them have a great support system. Their husbands are their crew, and but that's about, and they're both tough, but then that's about where the comparison's not the same, because Courtney is just a machine. When I saw her break the U.S. record, she just basically was running like 9-minute pace. I don't know the math, but just hitting the same time over, where Camille is kind of a bit more like go fast, take some breaks. She's famous for drinking a beer in Taco Bell during that world record attempt, but definitely both of them are amazing performances. So Camille is the 24-hour world record holder and is targeting the world record this week in New Jersey, and she's going to start on Friday, October 2nd at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and then on Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, obviously. And the thing is, she's not talking about trying to break the women's record. She wants to go for the men's records, which is I love it. It's like, I like how people just throw down the gauntlet and say, this is what we're going for, and then do it, kind of like that Ugandan with the 5K record. Been around for 15, 16 years. He said he's going to go do it, and then he went and did it. In fact, he's going to be going after the 10K record soon. So they're on a 1-mile course, the 3 days at the fair. It's a race that I've been wanting to go to quite often. I think I'm going to definitely have to get there. It's usually held in May, but of course with COVID, it got moved all the way to late September. The current women's world record stands at 397 kilometers and is held by Sumie Inagaki of Japan. But Herron wants to go further step and become the overall U.S. record holder. This is required to beat Olivier LeBlond, who ran 262 miles, 421.9 kilometers in 48 hours in 2017. And I believe he did that in Florida, which is pretty phenomenal. That Florida race is a pretty small race. And of course, Florida weather. Of course, it was in November, December. But even then, Florida, it rains every day. And he didn't have really much competition, but he did set the American record, which is 262. Camille has never gone past the 24-hour mark, but should be interesting. She wanted to do a bunch of races. She was going to go to Hungary and do the 6-day, but then they banned foreigners from traveling. And then Camille really wants to go for the world record, which is held by Yiannis Kouros of Greece, who is 4:33 on the roads. So that's another 7 miles. So I guess like 269 miles to that. So it should be pretty fascinating. She says she's fit and ready to race after having 8 consecutive races canceled. She keeps signing up, and then races keep getting canceled, and that's what brought her to the 3 days at the fair. And she chose the 48-hour because regulars told it's the most competitive event of the week. I know she kind of wanted to do a 6-day, but you definitely need some competition to do well, I think, in a 6-day. And who knows with the weather, too. But also, it's weird. Like, you got the 48-hour record, 24-hour record, and a 6-day record. But the 72-hour, they don't keep official records for. Not really sure why. My buddy, the Jester, of course, is supposed to be at 3 days of the fair, and we'll be doing the 72. And we'll probably be doing a podcast with him before he heads out there. Haven't talked to him a little bit. He's been taking some time off. So she's going to do the 48, and she says she's going this weekend with an open mind. I'm not really sure what's possible. I keep getting closer to Yiannis world records. For example, when I ran my 24-hour record, I was only 6% off his. Most women records are 10 to 12% off men's, but I'm getting pretty close. I don't know what's possible until I try, so I'm aiming for the men's records. I'm trying to think big and get the most out of myself. And she says that she's got some newfound motivation. You know, that like a lot of us, her motivation really dwindled with the COVID, but with this race on the charts, she's definitely getting happy. I know she's a native Oklahoma, but she has been up in Colorado. I think they moved up there. Her and her husband also run a coaching business, and she's been training at altitude. She says her confidence is going because of her training, and she's been actually not running as much, but her been running faster. Feels fresher than usual. Went up to high altitude, and her workouts were way better than what she did before her 24-hour record. And I know myself, I'm doing a similar thing. I was known for doing 100-mile weeks for years and years, and now I've kind of been backing off and doing maybe 10 miles a day and trying to put in a little more speed and not so much volume. And so I'm sure that's what her. And then, of course, 24-hour race and a 48-hour race are different. You got fueling and you have sleep issues, which will be interesting to see how she does with that. And then she also says that she's been training her gut, and also known as a fun part of her job. The caloric needs are huge, and I've been eating pizza and hot dogs and all this crazy food to prepare. It's part of it, but it's certainly the fun part. So I wish her luck. It should be, I think the one thing that will be definitely interesting to see is how she handles the sleep deprivation, because 48 hours is pretty tough to stay awake that whole time. Myself, I can almost do it, but I always tell people that like 24-hour races, I don't run enough that I can't even get to 100. And then in a 72-hour race, the problem is guys can run. They can go take an 8-hour sleep, come back out and run and catch me. The 48 is kind of a sweet spot in that I can stay out there for 40, 45 hours, get a lead on people, and by the time they get up and the next morning, I have big enough lead they can't quite catch me. That's how I won in 2016. I was behind by like 15 miles at hour 24, and then into the second day, I just maintained my pace, and then on the second night, the guys went to bed for a few hours, and I got a lead, and then when they woke up, they just couldn't catch me. Now, I've been a 72-hour race, they'd have no problem catching me. So 48 is kind of my sweet spot because I don't need to sleep a lot. So it'll be interesting to see how she does with that. Of course, she can just run hard, but she's going to have to do, quite a bit of miles. It's, 260, it's 262, 7, like 270 miles, 130 miles a day. Man, but her world record in the 24 hours is pretty outstanding. So it'd be fun to follow. Great thing is they have a really good website for the tracking, which I really enjoy, and I'll put that in the show notes. It's called liveatthefair.com, and I'm sure plenty of people will be covering it. So, as always, stay healthy, be boring, not epic.